All right. I'm going to do a microphone check. Mic check 1, 2, 3. For those of you that have been waiting that are in here, welcome. Test 1, 2. I think that's good. Eventually, I'm going to download one of the live streaming apps so we can have a sweet intro. And I can do all of my pre-mic check stuff prior, but for all you early birds, you can watch this. But tonight, we are going to get ready for an upcoming coyote night hunt, which hopefully, if the wind dies down, will be tomorrow. So we'll give it a few more minutes, let some folks fill in, get to chit-chatting. While I'm going to be doing this kind of loadout and breaking out some of this equipment, I'm going to do it out here on the table for everyone that has questions, just to ask, and kind of in between me loading this out, I'll kind of cipher through some of the questions and whatnot. Jesus Christ is here. How are you, my friend? Good to see you. George Washington is here. We are live, loud, and clear. Get you guys hooked up. Definitely need my mods here. Huge thank you to George Washington and Jesus Christ. All right. We'll give it just a few more minutes, let some folks roll in and get right to some packs and some loadouts. Kind of excited to do this. I did do a video a while back on kind of a nighttime coyote hunting loadout, and it did really well. People seem to like that, so I thought this would be a great time to do this live because, well, we've got a hunt tomorrow. We got a big tournament coming up here in a couple of weeks as well. So February 8th, have an awesome coyote tournament. We'll film that, take some new guns out. It'll be a great chance to break in some new equipment and everything. So I should start making a checklist that I go through. But you know what? I haven't ever really forgotten stuff whenever I go coyote hunting. Normally, I'm the guy that over preps. Anytime we're going to the range, I'm like the bag guy. I love to take extra equipment, extra stuff. So it always works out really well. George Washington, what's your thoughts on the 223-556 as a varmint caliber among all the others out there? Here's the best thing about like the 223-556 is that is what is behind me, and that's actually what I'll be using tomorrow. So most people already own an AR-15 in 223-556, so it really only makes sense to use that as a varmint gun because 223-556 is more than capable, especially if you're running the VMAX. I like to run the 55 grains. I usually zero everything in with my match grade ammo. So if I'm running like a course or going to do like a competition shooting deal, I'll run the 77 grain. But generally, all hunting, all varmint, 55 grain VMAX. This is more than capable within 350 yards. Usually my longest night shots on varmints from foxes to coyotes and everything are going to be longest 350, maybe 400 yards. But generally out here in these mountains, some of the fields obviously I hunt, I can see a coyote coming from 1,000 yards away, but I'm not really pushing shots out that far just because those coyotes, if your wind is blowing at your face, those coyotes are going to get within 100 to 200 yards away unless you just start doing some stupid stuff. But man, 223, 556, it's a gun you already own, ammo's everywhere, and you're not, what sucks is like shelling out the money for a gun that you may only shoot a couple of times a year because a lot of people will watch like these higher tier coyote channels and coyote hunters and whatnot, and they see them shooting a 22 250 or whatever the caliber may be, these arc 6 millimeter, whatever, and you go out and you spend the money on that, and then you find out like ammo is ridiculous, it's hard to find, and you're coyote hunting a couple of times a year. um, I hunt with a lot of really, really good coyote hunters, sponsored hunters and whatnot. And even those guys kind of started off with the guns they have. But the furthest, I mean, very seldom do I hit a coyote within 200 yards and it runs off too far with 223, 556. If you're pretty good with your firearm, you're going to make consistent shots anyways. But yeah. So what's the population of coyotes in your area? They are pretty prolific breeders from what I've seen. Yeah, for sure. So coyote is definitely in this particular area, they're like everywhere, but it's starting to become a little bit more popular. Back whenever the people kind of in my circle and the guys that I knew and some even kind of distant family members, they were like the only people that coyote hunted. It's never been popular. It's never really been a big deal. So coyotes have always been in this area, but it seems like now, unless you're the one that leases the property or you own the private property, a lot of the coyotes here are getting a little more educated. And I've noticed this over the last probably 3 years. So I'm extremely fortunate where I'm at. And in this area, I'm close with a lot of people. It's a small mountain town, so I lease or they have me or hire me to come and take out coyotes on their property. But I've noticed over the last several years, if there's a group of 4 or 5 that come in and it's to a specific sound or call, and you shoot one and the other 3 scatter off, those 3 that lived kind of have, it's just like your dog at home. If your dog hears a clicking noise and then it gets a treat, it starts to register that noise with either bad or good. And coyotes do the same thing. So I trap a lot too. So these coyotes, when they see a trap go off and they see a homie get in it, or they see one get capped to a distress of a woodpecker sound, those coyotes start to educate themselves. Well, then if like a mile or 2 or 3 or 4 miles down the road, another cat is using, another person in your area is also coyote hunting and using the same kind of, let's say, Fox Pro or Lucky Duck sounds, and those coyotes hear those, they start to educate themselves with a bullshit radar of, okay, that's not a real rabbit in distress. So I have noticed a change in when I first started coyote hunting. I had a Sightmark Wraith that I bought at a hardware store on Black Friday for like $299, and the first AR-15 I ever had. And I remember I went out daytime, set in a field, and hit a handheld rabbit distress call and hit play, and coyotes were coming out of the woodworks. Versus now, you have to get creative. And I get a lot of flack for the amount of gear that I have to hike in with because these coyotes are so smart. If they're hearing truck doors slam, if they're hearing equipment, if they're hearing your side by side go in and out, they know when you're there. They know they can smell you. But yeah, they're very fast breeders. So right now, I'm going on a tangent and then I'll answer some questions. So hang in there, guys. So right now is like the prime breeding season for an alpha male and an alpha female. If I'm checking my game cameras on the areas that I lease or I hunt or I'm hired to hunt on, you can see 2 coyotes that are constantly hitting that same trail, and it's going to be a male and a female. And what they're doing is they're kind of establishing dominance around a certain perimeter. And actually, we've got 2 pictures just this week of deer being hauled off. So when I go back and edit this video, I can pop them in here maybe if I'm not lazy. But one with a deer leg and the other one with a deer rear hind quarter. So definitely the coyotes right now are preparing for puppies to come in. So yeah, we'll answer some more questions, get in this, and I'll start loading this stuff up. ADD will kick in at some point. So Miss Boss Lady 18, which one is your first one? You may have to re-answer. I don't know which one you're talking about on that, but Yukon's in here. Dude, Yukon is a great guy. For those of you that do not already follow Yukon, you need to follow his channel, and I'll butcher it, so let me look it up here real quick. Giving a shout out real fast, and we'll get right back to the questions and whatnot, but I've got to get Yukon's YouTube channel name. Matter of fact, he's got to come over here and do a live. Yukon, plug the name of your channel in here, brother. I'll butcher it, and I'll give you a shout out here in a little while. But yeah, Jesus Christ in the house. It's this guy, the Song Dog Slayer. Sassy's in the house. What is up? I live in the Southern Ozarks. They're all over the place down here. Yeah, for sure. So I go deer hunting and stuff in the Southern Ozarks, especially a lot of duck hunting, which I don't like duck hunting, but still get connected in that area, and it's good stuff. So good seeing the gang in here. Run Gun Business, howdy. What has happened? Thank you, JC, for plugging Yukon's channel in here. But yeah. So I'm going to slowly start breaking some stuff out. You guys ask questions. I'll kind of check in. This is really going to be me loading up Coyote gear for tomorrow. So yeah, if I get up and move around, I'll periodically see the questions and everybody asking things. But usually when I coyote hunt, I'm running smaller magazines. I don't run the 30-round mags just because I'm going to be on a bipod. These bigger mags tend to get in the way. So smaller mags, and of course Varmint VMAX. These are going to be the red tips, and I'm going to go ahead and top this mag off. P-mags, these are going to be the Gen 2. These have been the most reliable. If you're getting into coyote hunting and want to do this, just use the stuff you have. There's no need to go out and buy specific mags, and you can do all this with anything. I'll tell you what, the most coyotes I have shot as of January 22nd have been totally me LARPing. Shot one, we're in the woods here, and shot one in the backyard here, just roaming in the backyard because I do have a bait trap out here because they love to come close, especially when my daughters. She has a small little dog. So since we're in the woods, we had to put a fence around it because the coyotes would just come right up, you know, trying to get your animals and chickens, which they get chickens all the time. But yeah, you don't have to go out and buy anything specifically to coyote hunt. But I will say they do get harder to hunt. And I've got a dog back here. I don't know if you can see him on camera. You probably can't because he's laying down, but he is a great coyote scout. I'll get him up here in a minute, let y'all see him. But he goes coyote hunting with me a whole lot too, and he's real good at tracking them. So the thermal, so this is going to be a nighttime hunt. I am going to change my batteries out. This is the AGM Rattler TS35 384. A lot of people ask me, even in my own little circle of hunters and LARPers, I do work occasionally at a gun shop, so we sell thermals and whatnot. But this is I think the first generation of these Rattler series. This is the TS35 384. I could upgrade. Clearly, I don't mind to spend the money on my hobby and the things that I save for and trade, but like, I shoot just as many coyotes as the guy next to me with a $10,000 thermal. This detects pretty far away. I need to step it up, and I will. However, the plan is to continue growing this channel and, you know, maybe get some affiliation with some other thermal companies. So Overtone, Windex, and Yukon, they mess with some pretty cool thermals, and the thermal night vision, or the digital night vision, whatever they're calling it, and I kind of want to upgrade to that. But anyways, the battery life on these suck, especially in the winter. It's like 15 degrees outside right now. Overtone, dude, he's the man. But yeah, the weather sucks on your thermals, all of your battery stuff. Your shit's gonna go dead in a couple of hours. It doesn't matter. I'll run the Energizer lithium, and then I'll run the Surefire batteries. I don't think either one of them lasts longer than others, but battery pack out is going to be a must. So I'll start pulling all this gear out and setting it on the table, clear it out, and just start packing this stuff in and kind of go over it with you guys. So feel free to bust in with questions you have and whatnot. But yeah, batteries, typical batteries on a thermal, you may get 2 hours, maybe in the summertime 2.5. But I find when it's really cold outside and I'm consistently scanning without my night vision, If I just use the thermal, probably an hour. But we'll get into night vision here in a minute too. Jesus Christ says, I have an AGM Fusion Thermal. Yeah, those are really good too. You know, I really like AGM at the gun shop that I kind of work at and buy most of my gear at. I kind of introduced them to the AGM equipment and was talking highly of them. And luckily, all the equipment and all of their night visions have been very reliable. You know, what's crazy about night vision, I mean, this stuff did not exist for so long. Dude, I swear I keep putting these batteries in backwards. I hope these aren't dead. That's another shitty thing. I'm really bad is when I pull my batteries out, I'll lay them out as if like they're going to harvest and produce better batteries. Like I have a weird commitment of not throwing batteries away. That's probably not healthy. Always afraid they're going to start a fire. Oh, there's the plus and minus. I can see them now. See if this does the trick. You have to get this thing tightened. Thoughts on the RIXS Leap 6? Let me look and see. Dude, I'm terrible with names. I don't remember all this stuff. Let's see how you spelt that. RIXS Leap 6. I don't even know what that is. Who makes it? I guess. Let's see here. RIX Optics. It's not ringing a bell, but it basically looks like a kind of an AGM style. Like I said, I really don't get into a lot of other brands. We sell a lot at the store, but are these kind of like a Chinese made or something? I'm sure they're all Chinese made, but have you seen the new Athlon thermals? Yeah, for sure. We got a whole line of them at the gun shop. Those Athlons are awesome. Yeah, Athlon makes really good stuff. I'm not finding a whole lot out on this, whatever these are, RIX. So sorry, I can't help you on much of that right now. But Scott Gald, welcome to the channel. Hope everybody is having a great evening. Maybe I'll figure out how to put my batteries in this thing. I guarantee these batteries are thrashed. World's worst. I am going to throw these old ones away before I forget. From Ontario, Canada. What's up, neighbor? Everybody do a check-in. Where's everybody at that's viewing this right now? I'll throw these shit batteries away because they're probably dead, but let's do a roll call and then we'll start busting out some gear here. I really do think these batteries are thrashed. Let's try these Surefire ones. There we go. Utah. Jesus Christ is from Utah. Hanging out with the Mountain Jews. Austin, Texas. Texas is in the house. Thank you for being here, everybody. Michigan is here. Oh my gosh, I think those batteries are dead too. Austin, Texas, baby. Dude, how is the weather in Texas? Because it's snowing in Florida right now, or it was. Man, I wonder what I have done wrong with these. I think all of these batteries are totally thrashed, folks. I thought maybe I was putting them in wrong, but I'm definitely not. Central Kansas, Oklahoma, Austin. It snowed yesterday. Yeah, it was snowing in Florida and Alabama, I believe, which is weird because I don't think Florida ever gets snow. Snowed yesterday, but should be in the 80s. Yeah, no kidding. Cold as F here. It's really cold here too. Everything's frozen, and I kind of like it other than the wind has been just completely terrible. Guys, I feel like a complete idiot right now. I think these batteries are all dead. I'm gonna have to go into the cubby hole and find some batteries that aren't expired. You know, that's the problem about hoarding batteries. They say 12 2032, but I'm not buying it. I think these things are totally dead. Country Boys asked, do I like hunting? Yes. I don't think I would probably have made a YouTube channel if I didn't like hunting, just because that's generally what I do with all of my time. Here I am talking about AGM, and I can't even get my thermal on. I don't think I have this tightened down a whole lot. I am almost positive it is on now. All right, so now that I can get my paranoia out of the way, Texas weather throwing number like a damn Powerball. No shit. Let's win the Powerball. How about that? Into the cubby hole we go. Actually, Yukon, somehow those batteries just worked. I don't know if my autism was totally kicked in and I wasn't tightening this down a lot, but yeah, Yukon, we're in, brother. I need to bring Yukon in on a live. He needs to come in and do this with me. Can I invite you in on here? If you're down for a live, let me know. I'd love to have you in while I pack this shit up. What do you hunt? I hunt everything other than ducks. Although I go duck hunting, I just don't really care about it. Mostly deer, because that's what we eat in my house, is a lot of deer, and coyotes for clearing off farmers and hunters' land. I don't really care about turkey hunting. But yeah, is that a 308 behind you? Yes, 308 and 223. Mostly human. That is a very, very good one, my friend. So, all right, we got the thermal good. Whack and quack is good, my friend. Whack and quack is. Whenever you come visit, we need to go. You know, I'm over here in Arkansas where all the good stuff is. I have 400 deer meat tamales in my freezer. Well, by gollies, as long as they don't have a bunch of cat hair in them, you can get my email address, and you're more than welcome to ship me some of those. Can you show me the 308? No, YouTube has weird little rulies. You can look at it and admire, but no touchy touchy. All right, so we're gonna grab out some equipment, so bear with me, folks. Let's see. I'm gonna start packing some of this stuff out, and then we'll get back to chatting. But I am gonna show you, as promised, what we load out with in the evening here. Country boys from Jesus Christ. You made us this way, brethren. So I like to run this, what is this, a Drago gear backpack. I actually got this for free because I spent a lot of money in a gun shop one day. And yeah, they threw it on there. Dakota Wright, what's up? So yeah, this is a small little backpack. I would call this like a day pack, but we're gonna grab my call and all of my stuff that I can cram in this. First thing is going to be a headlamp. So this is a Nebo rechargeable headlamp, and it works wonderfully. That is a decoy stand that was already in there. Next thing is going to be a Kiji light. This works with my night vision. So thermal light, that way if I'm walking in, which we do walk in a whole lot, I'm not one of those that pulls the truck up and bells right out and coyote hunts right out of it. So battery pack for night vision. These come in really handy, especially in the winter. So that's going to be a must. And charger. This is going to be what I plug into my thermal, going back to like the battery life. They just do not last, and I broke my cover on this. This thing has been through hell and back. Like, I got my side-by-side stuck one day, and I didn't realize it, but I'm not like a gun case kind of guy. I just raw dog everything. But I had this thermal on an AK in the back seat of my side-by-side, and it took like 3 hours to get out of the center of a pond. And this thing was just drenched in mud. I've got a picture of it somewhere. And that was probably 2.5 years ago. And it has just kept rocking ever since. So thermal battery pack. This battery pack will roll with me. I'm totally cheap. I don't have a mount for my gun where I mount the battery pack up. I'll just duct tape it to it. So totally works just fine. So yeah, got that. Extra batteries, 2 magazines. We'll start filling this backpack up here in a minute. Bear, you're going to have to move, Bubba. Y'all can see the Akita. The only way to get him up is to say who's here. So, who's here? Get him, Bear. There you go. We're going to jump into one of the bigger safes so we can grab some night vision. Good boy, you got him. I'm sorry to totally false alarm you. You can go back to laying down. Okay, so I run a bump helmet even in like my shit hits the fans loadout because realistically, I don't feel I'm going to be taking shots in the head right now. I guess if it comes to that, that's just a risk I'm willing to take. So I do keep a Mohawk on here with extra batteries as well. PVS 14 white phosphorate. This is the most budget-friendly option I have for coyote hunting. Obviously, there's more technology out there that's better, but this is what we're rolling. So I'm going to change the batteries out on my clip-on thermal because the last time I went to use it, it was dead. And I do safety hook everything to my helmet in case they fall. So you don't have to have this shit to coyote hunt, so don't feel you do. This is an overboard stuff, but kind of going back to what I'm saying earlier is if you have this stuff and you're into this, why not use it? I mean, you paid for it, right? I'll check the comments while I do this. Jesus Christ is taking care of the Lord's work in here in the comment section. Thank you, brother. Oh, man, Modern Frontiersman, my brother. I think you're prettier. Go check out Modern Frontiersman's channel, everyone, if you're in here. All great guys here. Let's see. All right, I didn't miss anything. Chair working good. I hope so. Pretty big dude. This battery is trashed. We're going to actually throw it away because if not, I'll pick it up and put it on this Mohawk and be out of battery. Where are you hunting in the woods where banjos play? It's illegal here. Boo. Dang, man. Well, you know, I'm not sure why some states make it illegal to hunt coyotes and bobcats and all that. I'm assuming there's people that act like they know what they're talking about. But here, the population is so bad that they like get diseases and they just keep reproducing and inbred and whatever all that is. So it just creates an issue. That's honestly what happened with the deer is nobody deer hunts around here anymore either. What coyote squealers do you use? Oh, you're in Canada. Yeah, that's right. Dude, I am going to SEAL Team 6 on these Yotes. That's what it's all about. That's really the best way to test your gear. It was really funny because I went to a private civilian course ran by some pretty sweet dudes. And the first thing they said when we were doing these crazy target transitions and shooting out, they're like, God damn, you must be a coyote hunter. And I was like, that's exactly what I do with all this stuff is hunt coyotes. Like if you're going to use it, that's the best way to do it. You're basically stacking stuff up legally. So if I am running, I run Fox Pro pretty much everything on my sounds, but everything's Fox Pro. It depends on what time of the year it is. Let me make sure this thermal's on here. Yeah. Depending on what time of the year it is, I'll use different calls, but I really like pup distress. Pup distress seems to be one of those that'll bring in females and males just because when they hear that yippee coyote or that young pup, they get all excited. Most of the males, when they hear a pup, they're coming in to kill it, need it anyways. And then, of course, the females are thinking motherly instinct. So I like pup distress. Obviously, I'll start off with a few howls. It all depends, man. I don't have any set rhyme or reason. It depends on who's running the call that night. But the days of just using a rabbit distress in my neck of the woods are usually pretty well over. So night vision's good. I will put this battery pack on there. We should probably go ahead and do that right now. But I don't want to mount it. I'm just going to take it with me, and if I decide to use it, I'll use it. You can hunt anything you want in Texas. Yeah, that's no lie. God bless Texas. I use pup distress after wounded rabbit. Wounded rabbit's really good with a pup distress. It really depends, man. I've gone out some nights and you know I don't see anything after throwing the kitchen sink at them, and then 2 days later go back out and a wounded rabbit's the first thing. I really like using bird distresses at night because a coyote doesn't know what time it is. If they hear, you know, a raspy blue jay or woodpecker or whatever, chances are it doesn't matter what time. If they haven't heard it before and you haven't shot at them to it, they're going to roll in. But I will say this, when I first started Yodi hunting, I would only stand, or I would only do each set because we had so much property to hunt for like 15 minutes. And then I would bounce and leave and just give it up and go to the next piece of property or go, you know, half a mile, quarter mile down the road. But now I'll usually set for like 25 to 45 minutes. I know that's totally a really long time, but if I'm like lazy and I'm just making one stand that day, I will ride out a 45-minute stand because I have had countless times or evenings where nothing happens for 35, 40 minutes. And then that last 5 minutes, you know, multiple coyotes come rolling in. So, hi, Scott. I'm Scott. Awesome. All right, so let's keep busting through this. I am going to grab out my calls, move these bags out of the way, and get this backpack packed up. Told you it was hands-on tonight. So generally what I'll do is I'll have like a case of all of the stuff that I'm using throughout the week, whether it be tools, headlamps, all the stuff that basically if I need to load up anything to go coyote hunting with at any time, I can roll this chest out. It has a lot of like my decoys, the little tail decoys and whatnot. But yeah, what do they call them? Rabbit tails, squirrel tails. They work really well, especially for bobcats. Bobcats rely on their eyes a lot more. Coyotes will run into anything, but a smart cat will sit back and watch. Trying to get caught up here. I'm sorry, guys. My chat went. He asked what the green bag, what's the green bag on the bottom screen? If you're talking about the one closest to the camera, that is what I keep a lot of my electronics in. It's a Mystery Ranch pack. I'll show you some bags here in a minute. We're going to pack this stuff up here. Everybody should still be able to see me. If you can't, just let me know. All right, so Fox Pro, this is the G or the X24. I've had this for years. It's painted and beat to hell. I do keep a piece of tape on this because it has a really bright green light on it. You can see how bright that is. So I will put a piece of tape over that just because it makes me paranoid. I know they probably can't see it, but in my night vision, it kind of gets annoying if it's setting up right. So first thing I'm going to pack in is my call, which is charged. I charged it last week. Remote's just going to be on a lanyard here. I'm going to set it in there. And battery pack, going to go right in my front pocket here. And my charger for my thermal, or my cable for my thermal, I'm putting in my front pocket as well. Key G light, it's going to be the light. Going back to earlier, this is going to work with my night vision. This is going to allow me to see without having to use a flashlight. And I think I'll already put headlamp. Yeah, cool. So my headlamp does have an extra battery already packed in there. But those little Nebo headlamps that are rechargeable, they actually last quite a bit. I am going to go ahead and throw a box of some Razor Core hollow point in here. Even on like a busy night of shooting coyotes, I'm kind of a one-shot stop. I usually don't have to do a lot of follow-up shots, but I will take two 20-round magazines loaded with the VMAXs and then a backup box of like some precision ammo. That way, if I want to shoot like a skunk or there's another varmint that's close in, I can just pull one of those out of my pocket and not have to waste a VMAX. You really got to be cost conscious because it's really easy to blow a lot of money when you're shooting $30 boxes of ammo, especially when you're re-zeroing your scope constantly, because I get really paranoid about that. But we'll add some more to that bag in just a minute. I'm going to keep my mag out with the firearms. I do like these little pouches. I did a review on a bunch of these Mystery Ranch pouches. These are really cool. These will be what I'll put like battery packs in. I've put extra batteries, pretty much anything accessory related. Spare bullets. You can get smaller and bigger versions of those, but those work really, really good for that. Let's see what we got in the comments. Anybody has any questions, feel free to ask. Yeah, if you're new here, so this, yeah, Jesus Christ will tune you in. It's basically just going to be basic Coyote question, Coyote loadouts, kind of in a tactical way. Most of the people you probably know that Coyote hunt are thuds and boomers that run bolt actions. Nothing wrong with that, but we do things a little more tactical here and have fun. We like to party. You need a hunting license to legally hunt anything. Well, that's kind of wrong. They actually call it a PCP, which is called a predator control. What do they call it? Predator control population license. And it's technically not a license. It's more or less you registering your information with the state. You do not have to check in coyotes, bobcats, or foxes. Obviously, it's going to be different in every state, but here in the wonderful state of Arkansas, we kind of have an abundant amount of that stuff right now, although they seem to be getting harder to hunt. But yeah, you actually just have to have an Arkansas Game and Fish account, which if you deer hunt and you buy your license through there, or you have a fishing license, you can just set up the predator control. I think it's called a predator control population license. But yeah, and you do want to have that. It's not so much for the license part of it, it's for them knowing what you're doing. I guess I'm not really opposed to it. I've never had any issues with Game and Fish. Most of them I know. I mean, it's a small town, so they respect everything, but they respect what you do. They know you're hunting, but yeah. What is my favorite pour? When it comes to bourbon, man, I've got a new bottle right now, and I guess I'll show you guys here real quick. But my pours change all the time. My favorite bourbon pours do, just because I think my flavor profile changes too. But I will show you because I've got it on the front shelf right now. But dude, this right here is called a Rocky Mountain Delight. It is an Old Elk from Colorado. I'm a Kentucky bourbon kind of guy, but this is RWS. I know the people that picked this barrel. It's a private barrel pick, age 7 years, and this is a phenomenal whiskey. I can't call it a bourbon because it's not from Kentucky. But yeah, I like that. And this stuff is pretty good right here. I'll occasionally drink a bottle of Rip Van Winkle. But yeah, stuff's all good. We'll get back to loading this pack out, but had to answer some questions. I get bored doing the same thing very long. Thanks for being in here, Sloaner. Appreciate the sub. What light could I use for night? I mean, man, honestly, you can use whatever whatever spotlight you want or light. It depends on how far you want to reach out. Like, honestly, I would try to budget it in with whatever your rifle setup is. So, if you're hunting with an AR-15, just use your, I prefer Surefire, or at the very least, Surefire. What is the other cheaper brand? I've got 100 of them laying around here. My gosh, dude, I went blank. Let me just look. I can't touch anything. What's the other brand of cheap lights that's like Surefire? Not Olight. Somebody will say on here. Streamlight. Thank you, Jesus Christ. You're always here, my friend. But yeah, Streamlight would be like the cheapest option I would run. They still have a pressure pad switch on there, but it depends on how far you want to reach out. I like small lights with a lot of oomph to them because I run really heavy setups, suppressors and gadgets and all of that shit on your gun, so I don't like a lot of weight. But try to go something notable, because I have bought several Streamlights from the TLR 7s. A lot of their pistol lights are actually pretty good. But on my Steyr AUG, I have had probably 2 of the Streamlights go out, and I have those in a drawer, and I reached out to Streamlight, and they said to send them back and they would replace them. But yeah, I've kind of went all over to Surefire recently because of that. But yeah, thanks everybody, Jesus Christ and Observer Streamlight. Yep. Mossberg Patriot 22-250, no suppressor. Hey, that's a great bullet. Streamlight, thank you, Yukon. Yep, suppressors illegal here too. I'm sorry, man. Well, at least you're running 22-250. I think that round travels at like 4,000 feet per second. Yukon can probably tell you exactly how fast that bullet's traveling, but I want to say 3,800 feet per second to 4,200 feet per second. I actually have a video that we took. So my buddy, the partner that really got me into coyote hunting, he's a sponsored hunter from several different companies, but he's the one that got me into coyote hunting, and he was hunting with a 22-250, and we took it out to my 600-yard range here, and I had my 223 5.56, and I was plinking still at 600 yards away, and I was just so pumped up and how great that was. And he shot that 22-250, and it hit that piece of steel so fast. I'd never seen a bullet travel that far. Because keep in mind, I'm a redneck. We had like shotguns and AKs. So yeah. But anyways, that was a fast traveling bullet. The only downside to 22-250 is 3,900 feet per second. There you go. Is if you're shooting a coyote up close, they like to seem to run away because I guess it's so fast. It's almost like ice picking them. I'm not very good on the whole bullet ballistics and impact and how they expand and all of that shit, but I will totally tell you that I have been with my buddy who hunts 22-250, and he loses more coyotes than anyone I know, but he's also the best coyote hunter I know. So if you shoot 100 coyotes and you lose 30 out of 100, that's not that bad. But 9 out of 10, if I'm running my 308 or 5.56, it usually seems to drop the coyote. They may run 20 yards and flop around for a minute, but it just seems like that 22-250 is moving so fast. It's just, and you really can't see an entrance or an exit wound. But I've got some 308 rounds right now that my homeboy in Florida loaded, and Yukon and some of you smarter cats may get a little more into this, but these are some really cool. These are the Berger 308s, and we shot a boatload of deer with these this year, and the shock on these is so crazy. We were shooting deer within like 50 to 250 yards with these, and there was like no exit, no entrance. I mean, it was just insane. So as soon as they hit, they just expanded so much, it just like blew up the insides of the deer, which kind of sucked if you were collecting the meat. So luckily I didn't shoot but one with those. And but yeah, that would be a great, these Berger, I think these are 100, maybe 180 grain, 170 grain, but they're just brutal. I need to get more nerded out. I have friends that nerd out on ammo loads, and I just give them some money and they give me good loads. I don't have time to get into all of that shit, but it seems to work. Man, I'm gonna keep packing some stuff. Going back to the gear junkie stuff, I love packs, from really high-end packs to cheap Amazon packs. But I will show you guys this. I've shown this off on the channel a few times, but this is a chest rig that I'll wear if we're really walking a lot of ground coyote hunting, because I've got a text for work if I'm going during business hours. My phone's constantly going off, even on days off, because there's no such thing as days off. So I will run, this is an FHF Gear made in the USA chest rig. This is like one of the first editions they ever put out. But I will run this pretty religiously when I coyote hunt, especially with the grounds we're covering. And I can put my phone in here, I can put my coyote call, little things, dip, cigarettes, chapstick, extra batteries, cigars, lighters, all of the necessities that a man should have and need, oil filters, cell phone chargers. But yeah, so I'll run a chest rig most of the time. So I take it with me. Sometimes it'll stay in the truck, but I'll have like lens cleaners and stuff on it. But usually that will go either on the outside of my coyote pack, and then once I get there, I'll put it on, put my cell phone in there, put all that stuff. An extra magazine, very seldom do I ever have to have an extra magazine. And last but not least, for just one of my favorite bags, is a fanny pack. Fanny packs get a lot of hate, as I totally know how ridiculously stupid I look when I wear these to town, but I still do. But this is a F8 or 18 series bag. These are what a lot of your cool operators and stuff run. I get it. It doesn't make a lot of sense to pay like $100 or $80 for a fanny pack, but this is something that I'll have for another 20 years. I've had it for probably 4 years, and it's literally changing different colors just because of how much it's rubbed up against the ground or the dirt and the mud and tree stands. And I wear it when I saddle hunt a lot too. But this is like an Amazon fanny pack, chest rig. They're not bad. Like, guys, if you're wanting to haul your stuff out there, you can totally use the cheap shit and you're going to be fine. I buy the cheap stuff just kind of as backups. Like I said, I pile it up and I'll use it or do a review on it. But yeah, fanny pack's another good one too if I don't want to wear a chest rig. So that works out pretty good as well. Ear protection, 9 out of 10, I'm not having to run these because I am suppressed and so is everybody else, but I still will take Ear Pro just to throw in because there's always that asshole that wants to go hunting with you that is your best friend that doesn't have a suppressor. Because who wants to spend money on something that makes your gun quieter? Mine has a pink unicorn on it. See, Yukon? I figured you'd be wearing one, bro. You have a Coy Wolf there? No, we do not. We do not have those Diablos. It'd be pretty cool if we did. What is your favorite calling sequence on a Fox Pro for Coyote? Generally, I will start off with a rabbit distress for maybe 20 or 30 seconds, go off, maybe do like a male check, just a male howl, and wait a minute just to see if I hear anything in the area. But most of the time I have best luck just on distress calls for 2 minutes and then keep it off for 5 minutes. Generally, if anything is going to be coming in that area, it's going to happen in those first 10 minutes. So I don't want to totally throw the kitchen sink at it. So I go really slow. When I was younger, I would get really excited and just play a whole lot of stuff in there. And sometimes coyotes would come in, sometimes they wouldn't. But sequences, it changes all the time. I never do the same sequence. I've got ADD. I get bored of the same stuff. Man, it's not like trapping where 2 or 3 sets are going to be your best sets to catch coyotes. I feel with calling coyotes, it needs to change constantly. So favorite sequence, maybe a distress, maybe a pup in distress, maybe a female moan. So like sometimes you can do the injured female and sometimes that'll bring in a male, but it changes a lot. I never have the same sequence. What is my favorite gun? You know, man, it just depends. It constantly changes. I really like my MR556A1. It's the Heckler & Koch gun back there. I kind of stumbled upon it by accident. I come from a bigger channel where we tested guns constantly, like 10 times a week, and we were shooting so many different variants of guns. And an HK came in for the channel, and I grew up in a family that had a lot of HK. My brother was a big HK fanboy, and I never really jumped on board until I got like the Piston HK, you know. And once I shot that, after like we did like a full month of AR-15 reviews from classic AR Colts all the way up to LMT to the LaRue's. I mean, we literally spent an entire month. If you go look on the Michiko channel, we just did an AR-15 month-long review. And the MR556A1 had came through like 3 years ago, and I shot it, and I think it was like $3,500 or something at that time. It was when the civilian line first came out, and I had to have it. That was a stupid amount of money to pay, but I got it for free in the beginning. Obviously, I had to pay for it if we decided to keep it. So, yeah, I got to shoot groups with it, put like 1,000 rounds through it, and suppressed, unsuppressed. So, yeah, I just kind of just thought that I had to keep it. But yeah, that was probably the best part about working on the Michiko channel. And for everyone that doesn't know or do know that I've heard it, I'm sorry, but like I still work for the Michiko channel. So Misha is my first cousin. I still test guns. Matter of fact, we are potentially have some pretty big channel news to go and travel and do some stuff with some really notable gun companies, maybe 2 to 3. I could probably throw a couple names out there, but we'll save it for his channel. But that's probably the best part about being related to Misha and being able to help him is just the amount of volumes of guns that we get. And I say we because I buy a lot of them. The majority of my guns that I do purchase are coming through Misha and the channel. We'll get sent some guns that I'll keep. I think Arsenal, I've kept a couple of their guns. Arsenal has been great to work with. So it really opened up more than just being like a coyote hunter or, you know, some redneck from the woods. I do have a lot of gun experience. We do shoot a lot of guns and I collect guns, but yeah, it's hard to put a thumb on, you know, what my favorite gun is because they're all kind of badass. I'm totally rambling on, guys. I'm really sorry. I'll get better at these live streams. Yeah, so I think I've got all the stuff I want. I am going to take a toolkit I'm going to throw in there real quick before I forget. So, call, lights, remotes, spare batteries. I will throw my thermal on. I'll probably do some testing on this thermal here in a little while. If I could take y'all outside, I'll show you how that thermal looks. I do carry electric tape and goon tape. Not because I'm a fanboy, but the goon tape or electric tape works so freaking good for whenever you're coyote hunting to wrap stuff up, tie stuff up. It's just something that I always take with me. Like I said, of course, I already have my tripod and stuff in the truck. Daytime optic for most everything that I'm shooting within, you know, 300 to 400 yards, I can pop my daytime optics off and throw on these quick release thermals. I test zero once a month. A matter of fact, that's what I did this evening, was test zeros on both of these, on the thermal and that daytime optic. It's just, why not? When you have a range at the house here, it works really good. Which is better, bullet velocity or bullet weight for coyotes? I mean, you know what? I'm not even going to try to lie about that. When it comes to bullet weight, I really don't know. I just go with what works. Like I said, I'm naturally lazy because I have so many hobbies. I want to just be able to buy something and it work. So maybe bullet velocity. It just depends. I like a 55 grain 223, 5.56. Whenever I get into my 308s, I'll run like a 175 grain and then 77 grain 223, 5.56 for like a match grade. So yeah, it depends on the gun too. Yeah, so what a lot of people fail to realize is whatever firearm you have, if it's probably, even if it's not a notable brand, you can go on their website or call the manufacturer or look in your booklet and actually read the manual, and it will tell you what the twist rate and what that barrel was designed for. So like my LaRue's, each one you buy or each barrel I buy from HK, it'll tell you what bullet that barrel was kind of made for. Like, you know, they're not just making barrels and, you know, there's going to be one bullet that is going to perform better in your barrel because that is what the gun was kind of built around. That was what that barrel was built around. I hope that makes sense. So you'll have to do your research on that. I try not to nerd out too much about bullets and all that just because, you know, like I said, I usually pay a buddy to just reload my shit. Yeah, you're right, Jesus Christ. I definitely need to do a streaming schedule. You need to help me with that. That's a really good idea. What works for everybody in the comments? You know, would you like a night? Would you like, you know, every, you know, twice a month there's a Thursday night stream or something? I definitely like to do that. I'm still so new to the live stream that really this is just me trying to kind of get out there, put the channel out there and see what happens. So no guarantees any of this will be good, but I do appreciate everybody being here. Yeah, I got to get you on Signal, Jesus Christ. I'm so sorry. I know you haven't. Get my email and shoot me an email over. I'll put you on there. I've got a great group of people I've met through YouTube that we've got some Signal groups, and really that helps a whole lot, being able to talk to a lot of people that have the same interests. But yeah. So back to the pack. I think I'm pretty well loaded up. Chest rig, fanny pack. Man, I can't go anywhere without the sound of my buckle. But yeah, no need to have a big pack. Even if you're backpacking in, I don't take a really large bag. There's certain things that a lot of people would say to leave at the house, like the toolkit. But dude, every time I go out there, something breaks or a tripod. One of the legs has got mud caked in it. It's just part of it. You sound American. Well, no shit. Hold on one second. All right, lost my little chat screen over here. But yeah, what else was I going to break out? I know I'm forgetting some stuff. Oh, I do take a tourniquet. So for all you junkies out there that like safety, always take a tourniquet in there. I'm reading a book about anti-gravity and it's impossible to put down. Dude, that is a fantastic joke. You know your live stream is going to shit whenever you start getting jokes like that. I love it. So what I am going to do is double check my packs here, little batteries. I do take gloves. Always take gloves. It's going to be cold. I need to look at the weather tomorrow because if it's really windy, it's pretty much a waste of time to even go. That's another thing if you want to learn something about coyote hunting. If it's extremely windy and your area is flat or you're not in valleys, it is pretty much pointless to go coyote hunting because they're not going to be moving. Here is what I thought was the most expensive call I started off with here. This is a Western Rivers. I think I bought this on sale at an Atwoods for like 75 bucks around Christmas years back. And it worked, it does the trick, but it's the cheapest digital call I was willing to spend my money on. Because used to, you just use mouth calls. That's kind of what I ran all the time. Did you read the video title? We need to get Run Gun business. We need to promote him too. Hunting for hookers outdoors. Man, that sounds great. I feel like I've ran into that channel before, but maybe I haven't. Maybe you've just been on a live stream before. But yeah, definitely going to get into a live stream schedule and try to do some more content, loadouts and things like that, because, well, if I'm loading it out, I can film it and get to know all of you people. Or you guys can get to know me, but feel free, ask questions. As long as they're relevant. Don't ask dumb shit. I don't like dumb questions. We did get reached out today by a potential, I guess you could say a channel affiliate sponsor. And yeah, looking forward to bringing them in. Look like they make some cool stuff. So that will be in the next, probably the second video. Next video I'll upload, I've already got in the editing process. So, Jesus Christ, it will not let me email you. That's odd. Go to, that's really weird. Wonder what it's saying. Maybe my email account is atheist or something. Let's see here. Jesus Christ, I'll get with you in just a second, brother. I don't know what that's about. I just got an email in a minute ago. Could be a Gmail thing. Hooked and Barrel Outdoors. Is a night vision optic good for varmint hunting, or is a thermal the way to go? 100% thermal with today's technology. If we were talking like maybe 7, 8 years ago, yes, Jesus Christ, it is in my email description. You just have to do the drop down. So if you go over to my email description, just push the button and make it go down. It'll say email me, and then it's right there. But if that doesn't work, it's fox667xgmail or x39@gmail.com. So once again, that's fox667x39@gmail.com. Oh, you're good. Yeah. Totally. But get back to hooked and barrel outdoors. Is a night vision optic good for varmint hunting, or is thermal the way to go? I prefer a thermal, especially with the price of a thermal nowadays. You can get into a really decent thermal, especially used for like $1,000. That may be a lot of money to somebody, but I would just recommend spending over that $600, $700, $800 range, even if it's buying used. This TS35 365, I paid like maybe $2,000 of it brand new. This is like 3-year-old technology. You can get a used one of these for probably like $1,300 now. This is a Coyote smoking full. When I first started Coyote hunting, I used the night vision, which obviously I run night vision on my helmet and whatnot, but thermal is just so much easier because you don't have to worry about investing in night vision or a night vision scope. Yeah, I would definitely try to go thermal. It's easier, it's lighter weight, and to me, it's more reliable on detection. Because with night vision, you're just basically going to be hoping those coyotes aren't camoed in, you know. Because if they are, well, you're not going to see them. That's what a lot of people don't understand about night vision is unless you have a thermal overlay or a thermal, if someone is wearing camouflage and you're just looking at night vision, it's going to be just like the daytime. They're going to be camoed into their background. A lot of times that's what happens with coyotes. Sometimes you can get an IR light that is bright enough, like that Key that I was showing, that IR light is going to totally eliminate and show the coyote. But a thermal, this is like the most laziest way to hunt and see anything. This is the highest form of cheating next to the digital night vision, but for an affordable price, $1,000, $1,500. Even the cheapest thermals that they're making nowadays is technology 7, 8, 10 years ago is just totally mind-boggling, man. Hope that answered your question. What thermal do you run? I think I just answered that, so if you were here for them that, great. Is there any way to contact you outside here? Yeah, just go check out my description on the channel page. If you click on the actual home of the channel page, it'll have a drop down and it will have my email. Feel free to send me some emails. And yeah, I help you any way I can, man. Thank you, Jesus Christ. Love the bar setup. Thank you very much. It's taken years to add, but there's a few drinks back there. A lot of people look at that and they've totally shit on it and been like, oh my God, this guy's an alcoholic. No, it's totally normal to collect bourbon and have a drink every now and then. I'm actually training for a half marathon. So we did 5 miles yesterday, 3 miles the day before, and then today was all core. So I'm not drinking anything right now other than water. So I'll tell you why I'm doing a half marathon, totally off tangent, but it's interesting and relates to hunting. But I have a really, really good friend who leases property in Illinois. And if anybody here knows what deer hunting is like in Illinois, it's like totally phenomenal. I got to spend a week up there in November or in October. So looking to go back up this year. But my homie that leases this property, he actually bought some property up there. And we went bow hunting up there this year, or I'm sorry, last year in October. And the deal was this year is I get to go back in October and November, but I have to run a half marathon, which is cool because he's a homie. I know he'd let me go if I didn't, but at the same point, it's, I guess just to prove you can. Some people are just wired different. So yeah, half marathon coming up. I've got 90 more days to train for this. I had never ran a mile in my life other than maybe like in high school. I used to do like the 100-yard dash. I was never an athlete. I hated sports, but I did do some track. And I think I came in like third or second in some state records. But I never ran, and I got into running really last year. It seems to be good for my health, and it's also good for coyote hunting and backpacking. So it helps a whole lot. Benelli M4 is fantastic. I don't know what a Gordon clone is, but that's cool. Awesome, thanks. Do you ever hunt over bait? So a couple of years ago, I did hunt over bait. So where I'm at in this area, I'm really close to a butcher shop and I'm really good friends with the owner. He actually lets me take all of my deer, all of the boar, all of the animals that I kill. We kind of trade out favors, you know, I'll side his guns in or, you know, go in there and work. I helped him dress out a whole bunch of bison and stuff, which I actually have that on video. But yeah, so they get a lot of leftovers, you know, the bones, the guts, and all that. So one day I went over there, and my property that we own, my family, my father owns, and then I own, borders this slaughterhouse or butcher shop. So we took his tractor and we dumped a lot of bait over there. And it was pretty cool, but it wasn't as cool as I thought it'd be. It nothing hit it that night, but then the next night stuff started hitting it. But honestly, it was at like 2 a.m. So I actually got a load of this, some deer carcasses. We'd killed like 6 in a depredation hunt, and I put them in my backyard here, and I put 2 game cameras on it. And my bedroom window is just like maybe 25 yards from where I'm at right now. And when my game camera would go off, I would just open up my window in the master bedroom with my wife asleep, and I would just pick them off. But that was like the best way I found to hunt over bait versus calling or trapping. Like I said, I'm not lazy, but I have so many irons in the fire that it's hard for me to hunt over bait. Unless I could just go out there and really kill a lot of time and wait 3 or 4 hours, it just never really seemed like it would be, you know, be worth it, I guess. What's the lowest resolution thermal scope you think is worth it? The lowest resolution I would go is the step or two below this TS, and it'd be the TS 25. But actually, you know what? That was the first one I started with. This would probably be it, the TS 35 through 84. Go with the older generation because you'll save some money. But like if you're serious about it, like if you really think you're going to get one and like you're itching to go coyote hunting or you have been coyote hunting in the past, go for it. But like honestly, pick up a homie that already has a scope and like go see through theirs, because like I could remember watching a lot of YouTube videos on thermals and whatnot, and honestly like it doesn't do it any justice until you get one in your hands. But like any lower than a 3 in this 35 through 84, I don't know the resolutions and all that shit, I'm retarded, but I wouldn't go any more less than that. Like spend 1,200 bucks or find a used one. You can get on Marketplace and find used ones, join Facebook groups, join Reddit groups. Like that's also the kind of the downfall of getting good deals is there's so many people buying this stuff that sometimes you're also better off buying brand new. But I would say on like a good thermal, you need a budget of like $1,500 new, maybe $1,200 used. But if you get anything that's too grainy and pixelated, you really start having a hard time identifying animals. So like what happens is you buy a cheap thermal, you've never gone varmint hunting or coyote hunting, and oh dude, hold on. Run gun business, I gotta get this guy real quick. Hold on. I'm coming back to that in a minute, but we gotta get Run Gun as a mod. I'm so sorry. There we go. Okay, anyways, you should be good. So yeah, spend your money on a good thermal, because if you buy a cheap one and you have a gun and you're planning on taking out animals, I could tell you stories, but we're not going to do that live on the internet. But yeah, you don't want to shoot someone's pet cat because you thought it was a coyote. Someone is still looking for Jingles, and I hope they're not watching this live stream because they'll know I was the one that took it out. But I'm just kidding. It was a fake cat. It was like a stuffed animal cat. But anyways, yeah, don't skip out. If you plan on taking out animals, you want to identify, man. It's not cool to shoot at things you don't know what they are. But also, I understand this shit's expensive, and you don't know if you're going to use it, then don't spend the money on it. Go with a buddy, look through theirs, borrow it. I can tell you right now, if all of this stuff, if I only used it, let's say 10 times a year, because I feel that's like a golden number of like what someone that calls himself a hunter would go 10 times a year. If I only use this stuff like 10 times a year, there is no way I would spend the money for this. Like if I'm going to spend the money for all of these things, I'm going to use it. Obviously, unless people are sending me this stuff to review. but I'm not going to be out the money what this shit costs and not go out and use it. So we got Father and Jesus Christ in here. Yeah, we are great. Run gun business. Yeah, poor Kitty was right. Sorry, not good at explaining on messages, LOL. I don't know what you're talking about, but it's all cool. If you have a question, you can just re-ask it. Know your target and beyond. Yeah, for sure. I'm new gun tuber looking for tips and support. The best advice is a very, very small channel I can give you. I did work for a bigger channel. We're not getting into that, but do make content. Like your content you start off making is going to suck. I don't care who you are, unless you have a paid production team or you are into crazy internet, social media, making great content. 9 out of 10, the first shit you put out is going to be completely irrelevant and suck. But the point is you're making it. So just make it. Make content, put it out there. Be honest. If you lie, these people that follow you and your buddies will call you out. So be honest. Don't act like a badass. Be yourself. Dude, you can be a total loser and make YouTube and you will find your following. But don't be a douchebag and don't lie because people don't like liars. That's all I can tell you. Make content that's fun. When I started this channel, it was basically to upload the kind of things I do in my personal life outside of work, other than work on the other channel, which was more total gun reviews. So this is coyote hunting, trapping, gun reviews, and just bullshit. Still don't know what direction it is, but have fun. If you're doing anything in your spare time that's not paying you, you should at minimum at least be having fun. So put it that way. Yeah, there you go. Their prepared father, that guy. Hey, good to see you. I need to get over here where I can start giving channel shout outs. YouTube frowns upon that. No cells here, enemy. Oh yeah, no, don't do that. Tanner not. Yeah, of course it is. You should definitely suppress the 5.56. Dude, all guns should be suppressed. Like, yeah. Here's the thing with me. We've got a new rule in my circle. You don't get to go coyote hunting with me unless you're running a suppressor. One of my buddies took a 6.5 out the other coyote hunt last snow, whenever it was snowing, and rounded a 6.5 in my right ear. Yeah, of course. Suppress all your firearms. 223 especially. It makes a huge difference. Especially on a 16-inch barrel. Would you give me a shout out? Duke Outdoors. Duke Outdoors. Could you not have thought of a better name than just Duke Outdoors? I can't shit on that, but whatever. Looking at RC2, but I don't know if I should. I'm not familiar with what that is. Nothing's coming to mind. The prepared father can definitely give great advice. Listen to the father. I want to try to look up this scope or whatever the hell you guys are talking about. Yeah, I love overtone's the best. Well, good for you. No, you definitely can't get hearing back. That's no shit. Theo's Guns, email him, get on his Signal, GunTubers chat. Beautiful. Duke Factor 5000. Dude, Yukon is by far the funniest human being I've met on YouTube. Surefire RC2, yeah, great lot. I guess someone asked about flashlights or something. So, what suppressor do you run? Oh, that's why. Surefire RC2. Yeah, great. Go for it. Anything Surefire makes, go for it. Sorry, guys. Totally had a fucking off tangent there. I would go with whatever suppressor you can afford and get in your hands. So if you want to spend $1,600 on a suppressor, by all means do it. But I like running the multi-cal suppressors, the Silencer Co. hybrids, whether it be the 46 or 36. Run both of those so I can bounce them between 308s and all my other guns, 9mm. But yeah, I mean, I like Hooks Works, some of the less gassy blowback bullshit. But dude, man, until I start just getting an abundance amount of money to spend on suppressors, I'm going with multi-cals because it's the best bang for my buck. Yep, they work. I have put probably 5,000 rounds through that one, and then the other suppressor, which is a hybrid, probably 2,000 rounds through it. And then we've got another one floating around here. It's a hybrid, and it's probably got 5,000 rounds through it. So I've easily got 15 to 20,000 rounds through the Silencer Co. hybrids. Really no issues. So I would go with one of those, just because that's what I have the most experience. I do have a lot of experience with the Yankee Hills, some of the first generation Yankee Hill 5.56 suppressors. Put a lot of rounds through those as well. But yeah, I would go with whatever you can afford. I'm going to catch up on these comments. Yukon is the man. You bet, man. If you're cool here, you're welcome. This is the campfire. As Overtone Windex would say, when you're in these live streams, this is a campfire. And if you're a piece of shit, you're going to get punched and thrown out. We got good mods in here. I don't know what he's talking about. Yeah. Scott, better watch it. Jesus Christ, keep doing your thing. Is it dangerous to conceal a suppressor in our own gas blow? What the fucking goddamn? Gold is Canadian. That is true. Yeah, so suppressors, go with what you can afford. It's pretty much that simple. I think a lot of people overthink some of this stuff. You can do it two different ways. You can totally over research shit, or if you're special, you can just buy it, and if it sucks, just take it back. Most of these companies like suppressors and flashlights and Surefires and Streamlights, they're going to warranty their stuff. AGM thermals, go to a gun shop, pick them up, look through them, talk to the person behind the counter. But most of the guys won't be filling you full of shit. They'll be pretty honest with you. But yeah, go with what you think is going to be best for you and what you can afford. None of this has to be that complicated, guys. There are ways to save money to get into new things in the gun world, and then there's totally a dumb and retarded way to spend money to get into the gun world. I'm talked to a group of guys on every day, and some of those guys train harder than guys that I know that are still high ranking in the military, and the guys are running total Amazon setups and it's working just fine. You have to draw that line in where you're going to save money to get involved in gun shit and where you're going to spend money. It's basically, there's an old saying that someone can correct me, but save money where you can, spend money where you can. I don't know. Fuck it. I tend to over research myself. Yeah, it's super easy to do. I used to be like that, and then I noticed the more I would just kind of semi research and ask like maybe 5 people, and then I was over it. Dude, I know guys that will wait a year before they buy a gun. They will research it for a year. And to me, you're wasting valuable time to get a product and find out for yourself what you think about it. I mean, like, obviously, we know that one guy that just goes in a gun shop to totally buy, excuse me, totally buy a gun just because it looks cool. You know, I really don't even hate that guy for doing that. That's his business. But also the guy that's like researching something for a year, it's like just buy it, get it, see if you like it, and if you don't, sell it or send it back. You know. What scopes would you run on a 22 LR? Well, it's a 22, so whatever's really cheap. 22 LR scope, a red dot, maybe like a SIG Romeo. I've got like 722 LRs in here, and I run whatever scope I can find on sale. You know, buy the cheapest Arkin you can find, maybe the cheapest primary arms. Most all of my 22s, I'm running cheap SIG Romeos and the little SIG 1x4s or whatever those are. But 22 LR, uh, you're definitely not you're not going to be reaching out past 125 yards worth a damn anyway. So whatever's really cheap. Or listen to Run Gun Business. Definitely a better option. Generally, it's better to use a center fire cartridge. Yeah, you're not wrong. How important really is a suppressor when hunting? I see everyone using them, but I can't even get them in my country. Well, if you can't get them in your country, then it doesn't matter how important they are. So I can assure you one thing right now. There were a plethora of human beings that harvested animals and critters long, long before suppressors were ever invented. So I like suppressors because I don't like blowing my freaking ears out every time I shoot 12 coyotes in a night. I've shot a lot of animals, and most of the time, even with a suppressor, when they see their homeboy have blood frothing out of their mouth, they generally run away. I like them because they help with sound for me. They probably help. I probably get a lot more kills with a suppressor than without, but if you can't get one, then it doesn't matter. But I would definitely say go with a suppressor if you could. $115 SIG. There you go. Hi, I got a question. What mags are for PSA Dagger 9mm? Well, probably the gun that they cloned. Do you own a PSA Dagger? Do you know what they cloned to make the PSA Dagger? I'm only asking you that because you should do your homework. But yeah, definitely a Glock mag. War Society has a bump helmet. Thank you, Jesus Christ, for asking that question. Let's see. He has a bump. I guess War Society. What do you run for a helmet setup? Oh yeah, bump helmet. And at the time, it was like the cheapest bump helmet. It's a Team Windy. I hear they're pretty liberal nowadays. Wilcox, Mount, Still Industries, PVS, White Foss with a Coyote clip-on thermal imager and a weight on the back. It's pretty basic stuff. This is like the poor man's version of night vision, although it still costs an astronomical amount of money to have a slight superpower. But yeah, it's been a good setup. I've had that Still Industries PVS 14 for, it is an Elbit too. I've had that for probably 3 years now. And then the Coyote clip-on imager. This is it's a military brand. I forget what they, the Safaran or whatever, people that make the holsters. It's who makes the clip-on thermal, which I would say is kind of a must. I like it because I've already got my thermal on, so I can just walk in and kind of scan with that. And it allows me to see deer and all kinds of little varmints without having to put my thermal on my eye. So it works really good. What's that bottle on the table? Cat piss. We collect cat piss here and drink it. Do you coyote hunt contest? Yeah, absolutely. I just registered today. The official Foxtrotter 6 coyote team. We will coyote hunt February 8th. Check in is at 4, so we get to hunt from daylight to 4 p.m. So yeah, we will win that. I've got a great team, and we will be fighting off a lot of pretty good teams. There'll be a few sponsored hunters that come from Oklahoma and whatnot, but I will film that. I'll take my GoPro. I'll take my little iPhone back here. We're going to film that entire hunt. We got some really cool coyote hunters, got some heavy hitters. I've picked 3 of the best shooters I know. 2 of them are sponsored coyote hunters. So if we don't win this, no hard feelings, but I don't think I'm going to win it. I'm sorry, I don't think I'm doing this to win. I'm doing it because it's a blast. So we're really fortunate. We basically have 2 counties that we'll be able to coyote hunt in. So we've got a pretty cool game plan, and we'll bounce around. So yeah, it's going to be really fun. That'll be February 8th. And I've got a pretty good idea of how many coyotes I think we can kill in a basically, 5:30, 6 a.m. I don't even know what time. I don't even realize what time the sun comes up anymore. I guess 6 a.m. So it'll be a really fun hunt. I'll film it, and we'll have some new faces on the channel, so that'll be pretty cool. Bump up here through, if hunting pressure is high at night, is hunting the day good strategy, or does it make a difference? Absolutely. Jeff Mesusababa. Yeah, if you are having an issue getting coyotes at night, then change your time up. So if it's like a stand that I call a blowout, it is a place that like I did really, really good on for like, let's say the month of March. Like I got 10 coyotes off that. Chances are I'm going to have to reinvent my times I go out there, because those coyotes are going to be cruising through there at different times. So if you're only hunting at night and you're not having any luck, go at like 4 p.m. or go at like noon. So coyotes aren't what people think, where they just like lay around all day and then only roam at night. They do a little bit of both. Obviously, they move a lot more at night. However, if they're in that area and you're calling at, say, noon, that coyote is going to call out. So I'm constantly changing my time up. There's no better time to go. If you're not getting coyotes at a certain time, just go at a different time. It's that simple. So yeah, no need to overcomplicate that, but yeah. I'm running dual tubes right now, but I'm thinking about making a PVS 14 and thermal dual setup. Yeah, I mean, you could definitely do that. You could just get a PVS 14 and then get a thermal on your other side. Or you could just get like a clip-on and go, or just get a handheld. There's so many different ways to skin a cat with going out there. I've ran duals before with a thermal clip-on one side, or I've ran just a single PVS 14 and then on the other done like a clip-on or just a regular thermal mounted pull down. Really and truly, like if you're going for hunting, chances are you're not just going to be walking up on like 10 coyotes laying around where you weren't going to see them coming in. Like if you're walking into a stand to call, essentially you turn your thermal on your gun and you start scanning, versus like having everything on and scanning. I mean, now they've got it where like you can take your iPod or your iPad, and then you can take your thermal, Bluetooth it to your iPad, and just have your gun on a tripod and look at your iPad while you're scanning with your gun. We used to do that all the time. So yeah, for sure. You can do really whatever you want. How many coyotes have you hunted in your lifetime? Last year, I got 35. If I wasn't filming with my phone, I could tell you. So over just the last 2 years, I've probably got close to 60, which isn't that great, but also there has been a whole lot of deer hunting in that. And just, I kind of took deer hunting a lot more serious over the last 2 years. So I couldn't give you a total round number, but the only reason I know how many I've gotten the last 2 years is because I looked at my iPhone notes earlier where I log my kills. So I don't know. I haven't shot as many as a lot of people. But I do hunt with people that get minimum 100 a year, which is really impressive to me, especially if you have other hobbies. Yeah, it is a better question. How many harvested? Great deal. Do you know if Austin, Oregon is in it? Um, I do not know that, but that name definitely does not sound familiar. Hey man, question. A buddy of mine has invited me to do some hunting this year. What rifle and shotgun would you recommend for my first hunt? So, if it's your first hunt, that's kind of a loaded question for everything. If you are going to do a duck hunt and a deer hunt, obviously you're probably going to have two different rifles. But if you just get like a pump shotgun, you could get like a Remington 870 with like a 3 foot long barrel or whatever they are, and just put buckshot in that when you go deer hunting, and then use birdshot from whenever you go duck hunting. But I mean, if money isn't an option, get whatever you want. But yeah, I'm not a very good person to ask what would be a gun for all of that. I would just go with a pump shotgun, and then you have both to kill a deer and a duck. Where is that contest? Well, I would give that information out, but yeah, maybe if you email me, we can talk. 870 Wingmaster. That yeah, that's the one. Go with a shotgun. I feel like if you think you need to shoot birds and deer, then a shotgun is like hands down the most budget option you can get, just because of the ammo capability. There's just so many different rounds made for it. So it's basically a good do-it-all gun, and it can go into home defense. So I'd imagine if you're asking that question, you are probably new to firearms. So start looking into shotguns. Buy them used. If you buy a good American-made shotgun, go to a pawn shop, look for Remingtons, and look for Mossbergs. I would not recommend buying a turkey shotgun for your first shotgun to hunt with. Not saying that turkey shotgun clones aren't okay, but they're just not really there yet. Um, I wouldn't rely on it for hunting. That is, start with budget. Yeah, 400 bucks, 500 bucks. In the UK, they use 5 foot or longer barrels. The length acts like a suppressor in a way. You know what? You're probably right about that. I didn't think about that. The longer the barrel, the quieter the concussion. But yeah, shotguns. Shotguns are like universal everywhere. Like if you live in a country where you can't own a shotgun, man, you're in the wrong place. I'm really sorry. The first gun that I ever shot a deer with was a family shotgun we have, which is a Remington 870 Express. We nicknamed this gun Painless because, at least my version, I have multiple brothers, and this shotgun had been through multiple family members. But we called the shotgun Painless because, like, the first thing when we were like 8 years old, that's the gun we harvested our deers with, that we ate, or our deer. And of course, Dad would put buckshot or slugs in it, and you're like eight, and you're kaboom, you're just like blowing yourself back. But yeah, that's what we learned to shoot with, was either a 20 gauge breakover or a Remington 870 Express wood furniture. It would just beat the hell out of us. But the older you got, the more you learn to control it, and you harvested a lot of deer. Dumb. Bob says he recommends a 5 inch, and the right cartridge is great. But yeah, shotguns are great. Universal language too. And you can duct tape a lot to them. You can hunt, you can shoot, you can just have a good time. Is a 22 mag a good gun for coyote hunting in California? Um, I mean, maybe if it's like in your backyard. 22 mag is kind of small. I mean, you can definitely take one out like especially a heart shot or a double lung. But this is the way I look at it. If you have a coyote coming into your backyard that is going to like harm you, because they do attack people. I just had a friend in California get attacked 3 weeks ago. Literally talked to him on the phone. They got attacked by coyotes. It's crazy. I need to follow up with that. But like if all you have is a 22 mag and this coyote is coming in your yard to get your dog or your cat, yeah, then use it. But like I don't know if I would actually use that to go out and kind of actively go looking for them. So yeah. But yeah, you can use it. It'll definitely kill them for sure. PB&J 14. Dude, I want to bring Yukon on a live right now just to make us all laugh. Funniest freaking human being, man. PB&J 14s. I don't know what part of California that was in, but you can email me if you go and you look and send me an email. I can give you all of that information. It's actually a client of mine that I've had over the years, and we've became pretty close. And yeah, unfortunately, they got attacked by a coyote, and I don't remember how many stitches he got and how long he was in the hospital and all the rabies shot, but this just happened I think 3 weeks ago, maybe 2 weeks ago. But yeah, it was a pretty bad deal. If I get, I will work on getting the photos of the coyote attack and I will upload them. So subscribe and follow and turn that stupid ass bell on. I'm going to throw y'all a sales pitch, but I will get photos of that coyote attack, or at least I'm going to try, and I'm going to upload them on there. But yeah, I just know it was in California and it was not pretty. Yeah, my dad got attacked. See, isn't that crazy? People getting attacked by coyotes. Maybe it was your dad. Is your dad named, is anyone in your family named Sammy? Bob, do you have to use lead-free ammo? That's a good question. Keep the topics rolling. What's up, brother? Glad you're here, Scott Whitebird. If all you cats haven't already subbed to this channel and followed, do it. Ask questions. I promise I am going to twist Yukon's arm and bring him over on a live just because he really, really does make me laugh. We've got some cool guests coming up. That's kind of the next step to this, is now that you people are kind of getting a feel for how I roll and what we're all about. I'm going to bring some guests on, do some live streams, and have just some fun. Some good people out here that know a lot more than I do. I'm pretty stupid, but we like to have fun and shoot guns and hopefully hunt a lot of coyotes this year. Off to a slow start, but it has been extremely windy. Best gun for home defense? Well, it totally depends. You know, do you live in an apartment? Do you live in a house? Do you have neighbors? Do you have kids? If you are going to use a firearm for home defense and you have people in the room next to you, just go with a Glock 19. Put a Surefire light or a TLR 7 stream light and hollow points, and there you go. But the best gun for home defense is probably whatever you have like 100% confidence in. But I wouldn't recommend using your 308 hunting rifle for home defense, especially if you've got a bunch of Chitlins right next door over, because you got to think it's going to go through sheetrock. And as someone who has fired rounds off through sheetrocks for scientific experiments, yeah, you definitely don't want to be on the receiving end of that. So I don't know. I rotate mine out. I would also say use whatever you don't mind being confiscated if you had to use it in a home defense situation, because more than likely that's where it's going to go. But yeah. 9mm hollow point seems to be a good one. I use a 223-556 because my version of home defense is probably a lot different than everyone else's, because I'm in the middle of nowhere and the way you would come into my house is going to be shooting in the direction to the middle of nowhere. But most importantly, my home defense is going to be our chickens and those kind of things. So I like having a short barrel 223 with a clip on or a little thermal on it. And I have an offset red dot. But when I use it, it's outside of my back door to ward off varmints. And it works. I'm about to pour up a bourbon. I'm out of water. Yeah, for sure. Yeah, use your 9 mil. That's a good option. House is on fire. Well, you can grab one bourbon. What are you taking? That's a wonderful question. But as a firefighter, I've been a firefighter for 15 years. Yes, I know I have a beard, but I am a certified firefighter, first responder. So if my house is on fire, I'm not grabbing anything that is flammable. But just for the pure pleasure of a great question, um, if I could grab one bourbon, honestly, there is probably 20 to 30,000. I don't even want to say how many dollars worth of bourbon back there because I've been collecting it for a very long time. But there is one bottle that you could probably go out right now and pay $30 for it because it is not very expensive. 30 bucks is what this bottle would cost you. But if you could find this one, what is the difference between flammable and inflammable? Ah, shit. You know I'm a retard. So, I would grab this bottle right. You know what? I don't think I have it out here. Yeah, I do. It's back here in the back. So it's not a collectible bottle by any means, but is an Evan Williams 12412 bottled bottle, single barrel. And the reason I'd grab this is because this was when my daughter was born, and I told her when she turns 21, because she is obsessed with how these bottles look and always kind of has been. And of course, she's like a teenager now. But I told her when she turns 21, we'll crack this open and she can have her first single barrel bottle on her birthday of 21. Not a rare bottle. I think I paid like 28 bucks for it, but that's probably the one I'd grab. Yeah, you bet. I have a Sightmark Wraith. Is that worth investing in a thermal scope, or would you suggest getting a thermal monocular and sticking with the Wraith? Man, I started off with a Sightmark Wraith, and honestly, I would step up your IR light. So grab yourself a better IR light and mount it out on the front of your gun. So if your Sightmark Wraith is obviously right here where your eye is going to be, take your IR light off and put it on the front right side of your firearm. And that is going to give you a much better projection. But I would also ditch the shitty one that the Wraiths come with and spend your money on a better IR light. Don't waste your money on a thermal monocular, because if you just get a monocular, it's not going to do you any good because you're just going to be scanning for something. And then if you see it, you're still going to have to adjust your light and look through your scope and shoot it. I would rather see you invest your money in a better IR light, because you're going to get a monocular and then you're going to have this monocular that you can only use for scanning, and then you're going to eventually ditch the Wraith and get a legit thermal scope. So if you're going to spend any money on a thermal, just spend like $1,000 and get a legit thermal that you can shoot out of, or a clip-on, but that's for another story. But yeah. Yeah, Yukon, I'm going to try and invite you right now. Pleasant afternoon. What's your favorite liquor? Kentucky bourbon. What's your most expensive bottle? Man, I don't know. I'll be honest. I bought a lot of these bottles whenever they were cheaper and you could find them on the shelf. There's a lot of collectibles in this bottom shelf that I can open up, but man, I really don't know. Some of these Pappy Van Winkles used to be able to get these for, 80 bucks, and of course now they're, $800. They still taste pretty good though. I'm gonna figure out how to get Yukon on here. What's the helmet setup? Just upgraded to a helmet mounted iRay. iRay RH25 is a fantastic option, so good for you. PVS 14, white Fosbit Elbit with a thermal overlay. Hang on, putting the kiddos to bed. You bet, dude. Take your time, man. Just tell me when you're ready. I'm going coyote hunting this weekend with a low budget stuff. And do you have any tips? And the only thing I have for seeing is night vision binoculars. Best tips is maybe you should wait for daytime and take a shotgun and go in the woods. So, like, if all you have is a thermal binocular or monocular, sorry, tongue tied, you're probably not going to have a whole lot of luck shooting that unless you're spotlighting it. So, why don't, instead of going at night, you go during the day and take a shotgun, because that would be the most sensible thing to do, and try to call them in close. So if you don't have the proper equipment, chances are you may not have a lot of success, at night. But then again, I've shot coyotes when I was younger and just had a mouth call and a spotlight, and they come in pretty close. So best advice, go out and learn for yourself. You'll figure out, really, I guess the question is, what gun do you have? Do you have a flashlight at least? What are you using to call these in? Do you have a digital call? Do you have a mouth call? But have you ever drink Appleton? No, I've not. Mm, yeah, if you have an electronic caller, set that dude up probably 25 to 50 yards. The main thing you're going to need to know if you're new to this is play the wind. So do not have the wind at your back blowing towards your call. So chances are, wherever you set your call and you're putting it forward, if that call is going, the noise is going out in front of you, you want the wind coming back to you, because a coyote, once it smells you, you're pretty well gone. Baiting versus electronic collar, 100% electronic collar, unless you have like a bait pit that's dedicated to that. Good question, Run Gun. If you had a bait pit that a farmer's using for like a lot of his dead animals, and you could put a game camera on it, and you know what time those coyotes are rolling in, fantastic. But out here, we don't have a whole lot of like bait pits and stuff anymore. A lot of the farmers are taking a little better care of their cattle. So I like a electronic call just for the time aspect of it. You can call and get in and get out of there. Ma'am, I'm not going to be a dick. I'm going to answer these questions about what your favorite gun is. Those are so hard to answer, so I'm going to answer them just because I don't want you to think I'm a douche. But I mean, when it comes to like your favorite stuff, is like, these are tools. So it'd be like, what is your favorite tool? I don't know. I guess it depends on the job. My gun that I use the most for my handgun is going to be a Glock Model 45. That is my go-to handgun. It's set up for a competition shooting or a run and gun or a battle belt or a daily carry. But what I daily carry, since I have a different job of not being able to wear this, I have to carry a smaller, more subcompact gun. So I don't really have like a favorite pistol. I just have like 3 or 4 pistols that are better for the job that I need to do. Um, Favorite like rifle, I've said it a few times. I really like my 308 LaRue, and I like my 5.56 HK MR 5.56A1. Those are 2 guns that I carry like every day, and we beat the living hell out of, and we shoot them a whole lot, and they're just reliable. So my favorite guns are the ones that have proven their reliability to me. Yeah, I know what a Bagheera 22 is, for sure. Yes, sir. How's it going? Electric or gas? I guess you need to specify on that. Electric or gas, like cars, vehicles? Chainsaw. You hear my dog snoring? He's getting after it. Yeah, cars, my bad. Dude, I don't know. Did you read the title to this channel? Why are you asking me about cars? We're going to get Yukon on here in a minute, get him fired up. Biggest caliber gun, probably Mosin Nagant's 7.62 by 50, what is that, 54 Russian. Got a few Mosin Nagant's, and yeah, that's it. 308s and 7.62 by 54. Yeah, Bagara, however you say that. 50 Beowulf. I'm trying to see. Did you say it was in a 22? Bergara? Yeah, 50 Beowulf's definitely a thumper. Have you heard of the new 22 Creedmoor rifle? I have not. That's the 22 I have. Yeah, that's a good gun, man. 22s are great. You can pretty well use them for anything. I don't know if it would be a good coyote hunting gun. I think in this state, I don't think you can use a 22. Well, for trapping you can't. I think for hunting, I know for deer you can't. I don't get into all of that stuff. I don't hunt with a 22 anyways, but still fun for plinking, obviously, especially suppressed. Yeah, I'll check it out sometime, Stormer. I don't really get into a lot of these new calibers just because I like things that are reliable. I do kind of go down like a thud road where right now I'm just not in the business of buying a bunch of new calibers. I want to go with what works, I want to go with what's reliable and what I have used in the past. So I do like the idea of the 6 arc. I've been looking into a little bit of that action. So those do look pretty cool. 6.5, obviously, Creedmoor. Seems to be great. I just haven't ventured down that road. Just honestly because of how much I have spent on all the other calibers and all the other guns. I need to kind of complete all of those builds and yeah, just use what I have versus start buying. I'm the type of person where if I'm going to buy a gun and invest it, it's going to be done right, and then I'm going to need a lot of ammo for it, and that costs a lot of money. So, yeah, that's kind of the cool thing, kind of like what Run Gun says here. That's really the cool thing about having, 5.56 is you can have 6, 7, 10 different rifles. So, I try to go with something that I can have in multiple firearms or multiple options. 223, 5.56, or 308. It just seems like it's kind of unlimited on how you want to set it up. Do you want it in a bolt action? Do you want it in a more run and gun, home defense? It just works. What's a good optic for coyotes? Man, it totally depends. How much do you want to spend? If you're looking for daytime optics, Arkin is making some really good stuff too. 243 is a good round, but Arkin is making some good stuff. I've got some primary arms GLXs. This was like one of my older GLX primary arms for daytime. It's a 3x18. It doesn't have exactly the best eye relief, but this thing kicks ass as far as durability. I mean, this thing has just been beat to hell, and I have shot so many different angles and I guess you could call them shooting competitions and whatnot with this, running guns. But really, it just depends on, You know, what are you looking to spend? What's your budget? Arkin is making some really good stuff. Primary Arms, Vortex. If you want to, you know, Vortex makes a variety of low to higher end stuff. So what is your biggest buck? Mostly just 8 points. Not a real big horn hunter. I've got a couple of big ones lined up on this wall back behind the camera that you can't see, but I don't do the measure and tape stuff and all that. Not really my thing. I love hunting, but I hunt to eat, and I basically choose to take out the deer that I want. So I do a lot of land management, and I have my own private property. So I pass up a lot of really pretty deer, I guess you could say, that a lot of people would shoot. Just kind of building a farm right now of deer. I use the coyote hunting to be able to shoot really whatever I want, and then depredation hunts for deer to shoot just whatever I want versus, or everything, I guess you could say. A depredation hunt, I'm going to shoot anything from spikes to, you know, big pretty deer. But on my own private property, as far as like deer, I kind of want the good ones to grow and weave out the bad ones. So I don't really get into the whole horn hunting stuff. Starting to now that I'm hunting in Illinois, though, you have a better option there. So, thanks, Duke Outdoors. 22,250 is the only way. I wouldn't necessarily say that. 22,250 is good, but it's also not the best because if you're shooting stuff at certain distances, the bullet travels so fast that it doesn't always do the trick. A lot of animals wander off with 22,250. Shot placement is extremely important. A lot of people ask about certain calibers for a coyote. Honestly, you know, you really want to use one, what you're comfortable with, and shot placement. Like, you could have the best gun ever, but if you don't know where to put that bullet, it's not going to make a shit difference what you have. So shot placement is obviously extremely important. What age were to use a gun? Man, you know what? I started using a gun probably at, I don't know, maybe 10 years old or so. Let's see here. Bear with me for a second. All right, accept. I am going to bring a guest on to our live stream. I am going to try to get this to come on through my phone, so bear with me. Nobody leave. We're going to see if we can get Yukon on the stream here real quick. I think I have to go to edit. All right. Bear with me, everybody. We're going to get Yukon on the live stream here real quick. So give me 1 second here. If the stream goes blank, do not leave because we are coming back with even better action. Well, at least I say we are. Let's see. How do I add somebody? I know Jesus Christ knows how to do this. Do I play Call of Duty? Of course I play Call of Duty. I'm a gun tuber. All right. Now let's try. I'm trying to figure out how to add somebody to my stream. Somebody tell me in the comments how to do this. Me and you, Connor, we are thuds. How can I add somebody? I think I have to start a whole new... I have no idea, he says. I think I have to start a whole new video, so we're not going to do that just yet, so hold tight. This is a learning experience for all of us. So stay tuned because it's going to get great. I think I can go over here to Yukon and just add. We're going to figure this out. Oh, that's a great idea. I think I can just do that. Hold up a second. Let me get into my signal over here. Since I'm watching it from my computer, I don't think that would be a problem. I just have to turn my volume down on my computer. So let's try that. I'm going to turn him on speaker. Yukon, if you are good, I'm calling you. Rat meow. This should work. Jesus Christ always knows what's happening. 100. Okay. Okay. Let's see what we can do here. I may actually be able to... Let's see. So what we are going to do is probably start a new live stream with Yukon. Because I don't think I can add him, but I am going to try to call him through Signal. Let's see here. All right, folks. What I'm going to do is start a new live stream. I think that's going to be the only way I can invite somebody on here. That sucks. But I think that's going to be the easiest route to do this. This is just this is us learning how to work the internet. So everybody come right back. Give me 5 minutes. We're going to start a new live stream with Yukon. And I'm going to pour a drink and things are going to get interesting. So peace. Be right back. Oh no. No, we're definitely messing this stream up, Bubba. I wanna have some fun. I just got to figure out how to add you, and we're gonna totally do that. BRB.